Welcome guys, Brandon here from Terminated Gaming, and once again we're back on World of Warships with another replay. This time we are in the Worcester, Tier 10 American light cruiser. The Worcester was one of my first cruisers that I got along with the Des Moines. And yeah, this is a very hard ship to play. It plays like a Minotaur with HE instead of AP as its main focus. But it also does not have a smoke screen. In replacement of that, it does get a little bit more utility than a Minnow, but not a huge amount. Minnow also gets a better improved heal. So why would you play the Worcester over something, say, like a Minnow? It's just up to personal preference. You're going to set fires with a Worcester, but it's kind of rare. They don't have a huge amount of fire chance, but hey, HE spamming is what the Worcester does best, so... Anyways, this is Islands of Ice. It's an episode map. There are Tier 8s involved in this match. There's also aircraft carriers in play. And this was played, of course, on the most recent patch here, 10.0. If this is out before 10.1, then this was played on 10.0, just for the record. So, why do I not play the Worcester? I don't play the Worcester a lot because there are better alternatives, in my opinion, to the Worcester. The Worcester is still a very good ship, don't get me wrong, and in the right hands, the Worcester is an amazing ship. That goes for almost any ship in the game, though. Any ship can be effective with the right person behind that ship. The Worcester plays like most American cruisers up to this point. It has very high shell arc, so you shoot over islands. Of course, in this matchup, it's going to be harder for me to do that because there's tall islands, not short islands. And it's basically a Des Moines, same amount of guns as Des Moines, smaller caliber. AP doesn't hit as hard, but it fires faster. And like I said, it doesn't get smoke screens, so that's its biggest disadvantage. The detection range on this is 9.8. That's with a full detection build, without, you know, any of the stuff that makes your detection range worse. And here you see I've been lit, and I already have torpedoes coming at me. I'm being shot at. I was spotted. There were several people wanting to shoot at me. I avoid those torpedoes. I take one here on the butt. I believe this is from the Ostergotland, because it didn't do a lot of damage. So thankfully it was the Ostergotland and not any other DD. But I wasn't running my Hydra there, but I believe the Ostergotland launched those blindly. I wasn't really spotted for that long until I started shooting, and the Ostergotland was not close. So the Worcester, 9.8 kilometer detection, but only a 9 kilometer radar. The Des Moines has a similar issue. Its detection is like 10.6, 10.8 if you went full detection build, and its radar is 10 kilometers. Very few ships in the game can stealth radar anymore. Here you see me open water shooting with the Worcester. It's not something that I enjoy doing, but it is something that the Worcester can do. You can see players that do this, and they do it very effectively. You just got to pay attention if something is shooting back at you. You can't really get too tunnel visioned. Granted, as I say that, I'm pretty much not paying attention to a lot of things. I'm just making sure to not give myself as a good target to as many targets as possible. You see I'm running priority target, so if I see somebody's aiming at me, that's when I start to really start slamming maneuvers in. You see I've changed course, changed speed. I try to get all the guns to fire, but in a way that's a little bit more safe. And here I left this a little late to, you know, start maneuvering against that Georgia. So I eat 3 of his shells. But I do get another fire on him after he did extinguish one of my earlier fires. But that's the bigger thing, is I had the Wu Ying, or the Pan-Asian Alsace, shot me in the side, and that caused the majority of damage. And at this point I was like, wow, this is going to be a terrible game for me. I've been the center of attention for most of the game when I started. One of our Georgias is already dead. Granted, their Georgia is in a worse for wear state, and because we have a fire ticket on him and whatnot. But we're only up to like 22,000 damage, so it's like, man, this is going to be a rough game. Especially with, I had a DD that hit me early. battleships have shown that they really want to target me. Granted, I have shot at 2 battleships, so of course they're going to return fire. But there really wasn't much in this game so far that I was like, well, this is going to end up being a good result. And, you know, the best places I could find to shoot at targets where I'm too far out of range. And I am running a range mod on my Worcester just so I can actually fire at a distance sufficient to actually engage targets. And of course, the aircraft carrier is now also deciding that I will be his preferred target. This isn't a smart move on his part, as I am a light American cruiser with defensive AA. So he doesn't get a single attack off of that flight. And he's going to eventually learn that he shouldn't engage me, because I don't appreciate being engaged by aircraft carriers. So he's going to be seeing a lot from us. And especially with the AA of the Worcester being impressive as it is. Granted, at this point, I'm surprised we hadn't lost any, but you got to remember we got hit by AP and not HE. So most of our AA is still intact. Actually, all of our AA is still intact, so he probably looked at me at lower health and thought, oh wow, this is going to be a pretty easy pickup. Notice here I'm firing at the extreme range. I just now am able to pick up the target indicator for the Thunderer. He's already turning to avoid most of this HE fire. I mean, these shells are taking almost 14 seconds to reach him, so he's getting plenty of time to react to him. And I'm sitting here wondering why he's spotting me, and he's not actually the one spotting me. The Ostergotland has put himself into a position off to, well, my right and forward. Granted, also the enemy CV is making full motion to come try to get me. His planes get shot down by the Graf Zeppelin's fighters, though, on his way to me. And he flew over, I believe, our Yugumo there, too, and didn't attack the Yugumo. And as I push forward here to continue trying to lay fire onto the Thunderer, I'm still being spotted here and targeted by something, and then the targeting goes away. So I believe it's that Thunderer who was targeting me. He was probably the only person in a position to shoot at me. You'll notice that I also ripple fire instead of salvo fire my ships. I'll do this with the minnow as well. The reason I do that is it staggers the fire as it's hitting the ship. I don't know. I just prefer doing it that way than firing all in one salvo. But if I'm in a smoke screen and a minnow, I might end up doing that more so. So there's the Ostergotland's torps. Thankfully, for that little fishing boat right there, he saved me from one of the torpedoes, and that would have been the torpedo that hit me. So, unlucky to the Oster, but lucky to us. Make sure to try to help our DDs here against the enemy CV's planes. Granted, not shooting any of the planes down, but we're adding our damage into the planes mix. I point out to the I believe it's our Roma that's all the way out there. That, granted, he probably already knows it, but mainly to our CV and our DD is that there is a DD out, spotting us out in that direction and launching torps at us. Because as I started firing there, I got spotted again. So the Oster is what's spotting me. The Wu Ying does not fire at me, so I get a little bit. I'll get a little bit of time here to shoot at him. He's also turning away, so he'll only have one turret that's able to fire at me, anyways. I'm playing what would be considered a dangerous game here with the Worcester. As I showed earlier, I was the primary target for a short while, but as the battles went on here, I haven't done as aggressive of maneuvers, so I'm not the primary focus. But now the Wu Ying has fired 4 shells at me. I just start reversing. I get hit by like an overpen from 1 shell. And I'm finally no longer spotted when I'm firing here. And I'm really trying to get that Wu Ying, but the travel time of the shells makes it so he gets plenty of time to see the shells coming in, but we do get him there, finally. And the enemy Oster is spotted right where I generally pinged in the direction of. I mean, it was pretty explanatory of where he was. We have our Sashio is going to try to do something about him, but he's, of course, going to be the worst equipped to deal anything against that Oster, who is shooting and burning down our Roma. The Oster made it seem like he was going to reverse there to continue shooting at the Roma, so that's why my shots were there. You gotta really predict when you have shells that take so long to reach a target of what they're gonna do, especially DDs. Of course, I'm not saying the Worcester is not well equipped to take out DDs. It's an HE spammy, quick firing cruiser. It's gonna make short work of a destroyer like the Ostergalen. But when you're having to chase down the Ostergalen in a Worcester, it's going to make your job very difficult to shoot him, as he can avoid most of the fire at range. So that's where the quickness of the reload helps. At this point, I've started to believe that the Ostergalen has turned around, but I'm going to continue sailing this way in case he hasn't, to support the Asashio, as the Asashio will not be able to outgun an Oster, being one tier lower. Our team is folding quickly, and of course we're making a maneuver to try to take out an Ostergalen away from the epicenter, which might not be seen as very smart, but it is the decision nonetheless that I have decided to make, as this Ostergalen has caused a lot of problems on the flank, and if we take him out, all the rest of the enemies will be in front of us. I get spotted by the Oster, and I deploy a radar, and of course it's a 9-kilometer radar, so the Oster, all he has to do is turn outwards here, and he will avoid while I'm trying to get more guns onto him to pump out damage immediately. If the Oster would have sailed completely straight outward, he would have been fine against my radar, but he decided to turn inwards to launch torps, and almost avoided that one on a risky maneuver, whereas I could have just easily turned in faster. I mean, the Worcester is very long, is its problem. It's a long but thin cruiser, which is a blessing and a curse. I'm still spotted here by the Oster because he's actually making a maneuver in front of the island. So I'm being targeted by the Thunderer while being spotted by the Oster, which he is actually cut in front of that island that I've just pinged, and staying closer to us than trying to run away. If he would have made us have to chase him longer, the results of this game might have been different. Of course, now we're up to 66,500 damage. We have 1 kill. At this point, it's a very mediocre game. But I've made this decision to try to chase down this enemy Oster, as he is a top tier DD and one of the close to top tier DD. He's a tier 9. But he's very scary to every player in the game, as his torpedoes are fast, hard to dodge, even for a ship such as myself, or even our Zhao, and especially our battleships. He's not going to do a lot of damage to you on those torpedoes, but the torpedoes are going to almost be guaranteed to hit you if he places them well, which he's proven that he can place them fairly well. We get a lucky hit there, incapacitate something, but no idea what that could have been. But this Oster, the mistake he's making here is staying close enough for me to engage him, and he has about 7 seconds as displayed on the screen to avoid my shells, and we're getting decent hits on him, so he's obviously not avoiding very well. Since I don't see him anymore, I decided to shoot at the Thunderer there for a second. It's not like I was going to be out of the fight against this Oster for very long if he got spotted again, but I think it's 3.6 second reload on these shells, 3.7. And we managed to hit his engine there. I decided to turn the opposite way, as I don't really want to push that Thunderer, and I want to try to give myself the maximum amount of time to shoot at this Oster while he's spotted. Now he's starting to actually actively maneuver, so we're only landing a couple shells here and there. So I start to spread my fire outwards, just so I cover the area a little bit more. I also turned inward to potentially avoid those torpedoes that he launched, as changing your course and speed is important and vital to avoiding destroyers. As you notice, we take out his engine again. When you're getting constantly peppered by HE from a booster, you're going to lose a lot, and especially like losing the AA guns as well. He's losing those against potentially if the CV wanted to attack him. My accuracy starts to get worse here as I'm getting closer to him. It only takes one more hit to kill him, but he uses a heal. The Asashio ends up killing him there at the end there. So now I launch my Hydro, assuming that the Oster maybe got another set of torps off against me, and I want to be able to just open gun against this Thunderer that's in the middle. The Thunderer is 1v1 in our Zao. This is a fight that obviously the Thunderer should win unless the Zao could have landed a torp. We get a lucky fire on the Thunderer to try to... We're going to try to pump as much damage into him as possible, but he's going to get the Zao here, and I believe the next salvo. This enemy Thunderer's played very well for the most part during this game. He has 2 kills for his team, and he's also in the middle of the map. The enemy Hayate actually gets the kill on the Zao, and the aircraft carrier lands some torpedoes on the Thunderer. At this point, our team doesn't really control very many of the caps, but we still have 2 of our DDs, our CV, and me in the cruiser. But they have a battleship, a tier 10 battleship, their carrier, and a tier 10 destroyer. Of course, you know, we have the 2 destroyers, but still, I don't like their chances necessarily against a destroyer that's higher tier than them. The Implacable is trying to just keep me spotted, which is a smart choice here, as I'm about to be in cover from the Thunderer, so the Thunderer wouldn't be able to spot me. I get another fire on the Thunderer. And at this point, I wasn't sure if the Implacable was actually going to try to target me here, or what. And you're going to think that this is an interesting decision, and I agree. At the point of which I was doing this, I wasn't 100% sure, but the Thunderer is so... This mountain here on my left is so tall, I can't actually actively shoot the Thunderer very easily. Most of my shells will not necessarily impact. So I'm actually pursuing the CV that's over here, and then still seeing if I can land shots on that Thunderer while I can. But as soon as I see I can start shooting the CV, I'm going to actively try to do that. As long as the CV is focusing me, and we get the outside ring here capped because the CV left it. As long as the CV is actively focusing me and not the DDs should have free reign against the Thunderer. So it's at this point where I no longer can shoot the Thunderer. I put a parting little amount of shells on him. I sew up as I figured the Hayate would fire torpedoes at me. Why not? He might as well. It's an opportunity missed if he didn't. And I just start laying HG fire into this Implacable. Of course, my main goal here was to eliminate the Implacable, obviously. But if I could get him to focus his planes onto me, was another win that I was going for, hopefully. By me shooting at him, I'm the most direct threat to him, as the Hayate just takes out the Yugumo there, and our Asashio is very low on health. But the Hayate gets torped by the Graf Zeppelin, so good to him. And I'm landing decent hits on this Implacable, while not actually being zoomed in, because I'm trying to pay attention to where the enemy team is, because of course the Thunderer is targeting me here, even though he can't hit me. The Implacable's still not targeting me. He's going after the Asashio, which is a smart decision. And at this point, I'm getting close to... because I no longer can see the Implacable. So I'm just waiting to go after this Thunderer here, which requires me to go after these planes, which the Implacable finally goes after me instead of the Asashio. He couldn't find the Asashio. And he only lands, I think, 2 bomb hits there. And I wait to take out his planes before I continue sailing around this island, as I do not want the Thunderer to get an opening salvo against me right away. I radar here just to kind of see the position of the Thunderer. The Thunderer is obviously not in a position to shoot me. He's coming around that island, so I'm going to speed forward. He's going to contest the middle ring. We are up on points, so at this point we could play it safe and just try to... I'm trying to beeline it inwards. But of course now the CV is spotted me, so the Thunderer knows where I am. And the Asashio has already dumped torps at the Thunderer, so the Thunderer generally knows an idea of where the Asashio is. I begin pre-firing around the corner here to see if I can land some shell hits on the Thunderer. And maybe at this range I should have engaged his bow with AP. But I'm kind of getting lucky here that I'm not getting lit by him, as you notice on the screen, because I was far enough around the corner. I get a fire on him, and that fire is going to continue to burn here, and I actually get the kill on the Thunderer right there. Game ends in 20 seconds. We're really not going to get to do much more of this game, so we end up doing pretty well. I mean, there's some boneheaded decisions I made in this game, and it was probably closer than it needed to be, but by staying alive till the end, the DPM of the Worcester really came in to help. I fire these last shells here for no reason because they weren't gonna get there before the end of the match. 165,000 damage, yeah, nothing to write home about. It's a tier 10 cruiser. 288 shell hits, again, nothing to write home about. It didn't do that much. 13 plane kills, not that much for a Worcester. 2 kills, 7 fires, decent. And we also did defend and capture a point ourselves. We came top of the team on XP, 2200 XP. The Gumo on our team also broke 2000. He did fairly well. And I did appreciate our Asashio. Our Graf Zeppelin, though towards the bottom of the team, he did take out their best player, the Hayate, with torpedoes, mind you. And I don't believe the Graf Zeppelin's torpedoes are all that quick. And either way, torpedo destroyer isn't that easy. So detailed, most of our damage did come against the Thunderer, and most of that coming from fires. Against the Thunderer, at least. We did do 121,000 damage with the high explosive shells, and it was spread out across 6 targets. That was about all we saw through the entire match. Worcester, of course, isn't a premium ship. It's a regular base ship, and we didn't make all that much money. I mean, you receive 400,000 for a premium account and 201,000 spent on servicing the ship. So that's with the 15% reduction. We did come away with 192,000 and an okay amount of XP. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. If so, rating much appreciated. And I'll catch you guys most definitely on the next one. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.